Hey everyone, and welcome to today's morning devotional. In this season of devotionals, we're looking at the theme of neighboring, which is why we're going around and finding ourselves located in different neighborhoods in and around Douglasville and Douglas County. And today, the scripture that we're looking at is actually multiple scriptures. There's a term called apophatic. I had to look it up in the dictionary. And essentially this word means describing something by saying what it isn't. And so there are various ways, in fact there are multiple different places in the Bible that God speaks about neighboring, about being a good neighbor, by saying things that we ought not to be doing. And so I'm going to read you a few texts from Leviticus and from Corinthians, but there are also other places in Scripture. So hear these. It says, if you sell land to any of your own people, or buy land from them, do not take advantage of each other. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Do not hate a fellow Israelite in your heart. Rebuke your neighbor frankly, so you will not share in their guilt. Do not hold back the wages of a hired worker overnight. Love does not envy. Love does not boast. It is not rude. Does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing. There are lots of ways in Scripture that God clearly indicates that we should live our lives before our neighbors in different ways, but He defines it by what we ought not to be doing. This is something that we need to bear in mind, but perhaps as we think about that, we may think, well gosh, this is a really long list of stuff, and we may get kind of concerned about the length of the list. If that's the case, I'd encourage you to just think about this simple reality. Because there are so many ways that God instructs us to be thinking about being with our neighbors, hold on to this point, that it's very clear that God cares a lot about how we relate to our neighbors. It's really important to Him. And so, oughtn't it be really important to us as well? I guess my encouragement, my exhortation, my challenge to you today is perhaps go back and listen to some of those scriptures I read. You might want to move back a little bit in the video and just go over those again. Ask yourself, is there something there that stands out to you? Is there something in one of those scriptures that comes to mind for you? Perhaps a particular person comes to mind. Think about how there may be something in your life that God is calling you to not be doing as you relate to your neighbors. The reality is, as we live into the way that God calls us to live our lives with others, our lives will be better. And not just ours, but those around us. So think about what that is for you today, and have a great day.